Hello, today of Anthony, and you want to show off your, what is this?
My Vaalmonica deck.
And what made you want to play Vaalmonica?
I saw a card one day, and it was one of the prettiest Yu-Gi-Oh cards I've ever saw. And I was like, I'll learn what they do.
So, how many cards is this, by the way?
It's 40 cards, and it's like most Yu-Gi-Oh decks. It's just a pile of cards and a lot of hand traps.
Nice. Alright, I guess give us TLDRs of each card, because I know a lot of people do not know what these cards do. So, let's get started.
Okay. So, this deck would be really good if there was just more Vaalmonica cards that didn't suck, because there's in total like 3 of them that don't suck. So this is like the Stratus of the deck. So when someone adds a spell or trap, and when it goes to the graveyard, if you have scales, you get to add it back to your hand, which is really relevant. Because it works with these guys. These are your pendulum scales. These are like the heavy lifting of the deck, where I guess to explain, you have to burn yourself to get counters for the darker looking one that's actually a light monster, and you get a lot of really relevant effects off of that. This is the harder one to achieve, which is a dark monster. It's a lighter looking card.
So this one you have to plus life points, right, to get effects, and then the Demano you have to minus.
Yeah, so it's plus life points for counters, negative life points for counters.
Okay.
And both of them have the effect where you can discard a card out of hand with this, and you get to scale from deck. So if you draw any of these are every card in the deck, or sorry, this is every card in the deck, this plus this is everything. So it's really good. Downside is there's no more monsters after this, so...
Oh yeah, this is the only Vaalmonica cards.
These
monsters.
These are the only Vaalmonica monsters. That's why the deck is bad. Because if there was just any additional card and any other good spell, like, this deck would actually be kind of, like, annoying. It's really, really good against Tenpai, randomly. And I can explain why. Ignoring if you get shifted, because, you know, like, what deck is good when you get shifted besides Tenpai. But yeah, so just go on that in a second. Also, this lets you link summon during your opponent's battle phase, and this one makes all your guys like minus 100 for each counter. So this one isn't relevant, this one's very relevant.
Okay.
And then here's where most of the talking will be. So all these cards have a really bad stipulation.
Okay, so Vaalmonica Skelta.
This is Skelta, this is like the Rhoda of the deck. So it's either plus 500, you put back a card, draw 2. You'll use that sometimes. Majority of the time you'll do the take 500 damage and then search a card. Okay. That's what most of it needs.
Or a Vaalmonica Spell and Trap.
Yeah, and you need to have at least 3 counters on your field for your deck to actually be like playable. So this is a foolish burial goods for a Vaalmonica card.
Is it Vasari?
So this is take 500, dump 1. That's what you'll be doing a lot. Or gain 500, and it's Pot of Prosperity, but only for Vaalmonica cards, so it's not good at all.
Yeah, it says keep milling basically until you hit a Vaalmonica.
Exactly. So these are like the best ones. And then this card is the Disharmonia. This one gives anything 1 counter, and then lets you add back from banish or your graveyard. This card's really, really important. Like, this is like one of the stronger cards, but you only need 1 of it, because once you see 1, you're good to go. Like, this means you're already playing the game, and I'll explain that in a second. To explain why this deck is really, really bad, extra bad, is because you can't make a link monster until you have 3 counters on your field. So if you can't play, you literally cannot play.
I see.
So it's really bad.
You need these counters.
Yeah, these are the cards that give you counters. You need these for counters. That's yeah. I don't know why we have Snake Eye Ash, but you know we have this at the same time. It's crazy. Then this really broken card, like this card, if this was in any other Yu-Gi-Oh deck, this would actually be a custom card. It's basically just E-Tele for 1 as a quick effect, and it locks into Vaalmonica effects. So you can use like Lingering Floodgates, like Baguska and Dweller, that are relevant during your opponent's turn, or set up your scales. This card is actually really, really good for the deck. And then this card...
Say it.
I can't. So this is the card I thought was like really, really pretty looking. That made me want to learn all the cards. I just couldn't say the name, so I just gave up on trying to pronounce it. Basically, on activation, it's a Rhoda. So
is this a field spell? Or?
This is a field spell. Yeah. So it's a field spell that grabs anybody. And it has probably one of the best field spell effects in like the game in general. It's crazy because it's Vaalmonica, right? It's a snatch steal. If you have 3 counters in the field, you just steal a card.
So it cannot declare an attack. Okay.
Yeah, but you just like that's it. Terraforming to grab snatch steal. And then the last 2 Vaalmonica cards I could shut up and buy them after.
Okay, I'll do this one.
So this one's fake news. Literally breakthrough skill.
Chosen melody.
Yeah, so both of them have 2 effects. You use both effects almost every single time. I'll explain how that happens in a second. But this one's main thing is its breakthrough skill and also protects your guys. This one's really bad. This one is actually crazy.
Followed rhythm.
Yeah, so if the deck could play and use this card, you get to use this card effect twice, like both effects during your opponent's turn twice. It's really strong because on activation, it's an MST, gain 5, and it's also compulse. So it's really strong. So if you do that once, you can do it twice during your opponent's turn. It's just really strong. And I'll explain how that works in a second.
So if you control Vaalmonica Link monster, you resolve both effects.
Correct. But I'll show you how you can do the card effect twice during your opponent's turn, the full card effect. And then just hand traps. There's a new ban list. Everyone's playing Tempai. So this was like one of the better ones against the field spell because they're still going to search for it anyways. Ash. This if Tempai gets into the battle phase. This is like the worst one, but it's like the best one. And this thing, and then this card for Shifter. These cards all have coverage against everything else, like the Snake Eye deck and everything like that. So hand traps. All right.
Hand traps are hand traps.
Very fun Yu-Gi-Oh. And then to explain this.
Oh, so this was 40, right?
Yeah, this is an exact 40 cards.
Would you play a Prosperity?
So the deck needs 3 Prosperity because obviously you saw I have like 9 sleevable cards in my deck and the rest are not good. I guess Vaalmonica lost pot of Prosperity. So.
You did have 3 Prosperity in your deck. I remember saying you needed that card.
Oh yeah, like every bad deck needs it. So like when Konami hits cards like that, because the good deck sees it, it's like,
oops.
Either you protect like the bad decks, make the game fun, or you hurt all the bad decks at the same time to stop like one deck from searching it. It's like just make better cards come.
Real quick, so one more question about your deck. So is there a world where you can play Desires? Because a lot of your cards are 3-ofs, and if your deck searches out, like, in a sense, the 1-ofs, like...
If you really never need to grind like that past your turn 1. But then the problem with playing Desires is then you start cutting into hand traps, and if you don't have hand traps going second, you kind of lose the game automatically. And if you go first, like, there's technically 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 3 of this, 3 field spell, 1 terraforming. Like a lot of there's like a lot of cards that do the same thing. Like the deck is actually randomly surprisingly consistent. It's kind of like Invoked, but like imagine Invoked to summon Mechaba, but better, required you to like play 1 more card next to it. It's kind of like how it is. So it's why the deck sucks because it just needs a little bit more to play. But like when it plays, it's like randomly annoying. So.
I was wondering if you could maybe fit like Extravagance or Desires.
You could probably make the argument for Extravagance because your extract is actually super duper fake. The only thing is if for Extravagance, you have to kind of hope they don't banish SP Luminite. That could be an argument. That's really about it. So honestly, not a terrible thought. But just to go into extract, this is like literally only 12 cards in your hand sleeve because like it doesn't matter. This stuff is actually just pennies bulk. But yeah. So Zeus, I'll explain in a second. Dweller, so whenever you use like the crazy Vaalmonica card, you can't use any effects during, like you can't use anything besides Vaalmonica effects, so we play like the Floodgate XYZs, like these 2 guys, and obviously you don't use Zeus during their turn, lucky that you have to, and there's no Apollosa to protect their board anymore, so it's like, you just like start this turn with Zeus, and there's no issue with that there. Floodgate guy, one of the The main one is a water, so randomly it's 22. These can't get bastilled. Well, these will never be engraved, and then this can never get bastilled, so like you're actually kind of chilling.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's that. And then your end board always has like this and a link monster you get to play, and it sets up like basically like 6. It's kind of like 4 interruptions by itself next to a Baguska. So like if their deck isn't like crazy, you probably just win. Kind of has a hard time with Labyrinth, but like, if you get to the trap card, like Labyrinth is easier to beat. But yeah, that's about it. But yeah, if you play against, why I said this deck is like crazy against Tempai is you have this next to a Link Monster, and there's like no out, because like they could Dark Hole it, it doesn't matter. They can't Lightning Storm because it's in defense. You can't get Duster because it doesn't actually matter, and I'll explain all that in a second because it sounds like too good to be true. So this thing, this card's like super important because the heart and soul of your deck is this card.
Well, how many of this do you play?
This is 2. You never go through more than 2 of any card in your deck, like ever. But they're all 2 of those because they're all like the bulk cards I had when I pulled out the Vaalmonica cards. So so these are like quite literally fake. I'll go over these in a second, but just to explain.
We'll go back to this.
Yeah.
So the Link one.
So this can only be summoned while you have 3 counters in the field. So there's that. And the reason why this card is so broken is it can, during your opponent's turn, copy the effect of any spell or trap in your graveyard. So if you were to have any of these cards, it can copy any of their effects during your opponent's turn. And then that's where the traps come up, because what will happen is you'll search for this trap, you'll set it, you'll activate it, because you need to have a Vaalmonica link to activate this trap, obviously, because they got to make it worse for themselves. So you activate this, you MST, and you return a card. It goes to graveyard. This copies the effect. You'll do the same effect again, because it copies the effect. It's not activating the card, so you get to basically try again. So this card will be a Twin Twister and double Raigeki by itself. So it's really, like, this card's randomly really strong. It's a Link 1. It takes 1 effect monster, which we'll go into that in a second, and it's 2,500. This thing is like overstated. And last bit of text is, if this, like, let's say you were to get like Dark Hold by Tenpai, or get Raigeki'd or Lightning Stormed, you just remove 3 counters from the field and just stops it from happening entirely. And it protects your Baguska, it protects everything, so that's why you can beat any of those cards. You can't beat 2 unless you're like super crazy, but you can beat any of those cards one time, like absolutely free, just for showing up. So that's why I thought that was really strong. And because it takes 1 effect monster, and let's say that you didn't want to make a Babuska, but you can just pass on this, like you could have your end border being this, you can just, during their opponent's turn, link, and just make a second copy of it that just can't die by card effects, because it takes 1 effect monster, and you have counters on your field.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you get to just cheat it out. It's kind of crazy. Because it's a Link 1, so it's cool. So there's that. Then there's the Link 2, which is like the second most important card, I guess you could say. This card is just like Giga BLS. This thing can attack for every level 4 that you have, Vaalmonica. So if you have like a Pendulum, the Skeleton that you add back, this card by itself attacks for 9,000, which is crazy. And then you'll make this card, like, basically your first turn is putting like the burn counters on you. Then your next turn is setting up for this one, because you'll be resolving the trap effect. You'll have the effects to gain life for this to be a makeable card, because when this card is made, it targets cards your opponents control equal to the number of counters you have and just destroys them. So this is like,
This is also Link 1.
Yeah, this is also Link 1. Also requires 3 counters, so that's why it's terrible. So you just have to like do this to them, live your next turn, make this thing, clear the cards you can't kill, and then you make this thing with any other body or the field spell plus any of you guys take a body. Like, you always have a follow-up body just because that's the way Skeletor works. And then this card will attack for 9,000 by itself.
See.
So it's basically a super diet Tenpai.
So this is how many cards so far in the extra deck?
This is 12, and it really can be 4. It doesn't really matter. I think that's everything that's like relevant. I only play this
You
card.
played 2 Artemis.
Yeah, you play this card because like if you play Skelta and it gets stopped, you can make this into this, and then Pendulum summon one guy and make SP level 9. Fair. That's really it. Everything else is like pretty straightforward.
Yeah. Anything else you want to say about the deck?
No, this deck is really bad, but like when it plays, it's actually crazy good. So I mean, if you play against a bunch of Tempai and they don't play any hand traps, this could be a fun deck.
Yeah. Your side deck's probably just blowouts and maybe more hand
It
traps,
is-
like if you had one.
It's just a bunch of floodgates.
All right. Well, thank you, Anthony. Have a good night.